Imagine you're about to give birth. There are no doctors, no hospital, no medicine. No one knows if either of you will survive the next few hours. Every contraction brings unbearable pain. Every minute feels uncertain, and there is no way to call for help. Yet someone had to become the first human mother to experience childbirth as we know it today. That moment happened hundreds of thousands of years ago and may have changed the future of our species forever. Before modern humans existed, giving birth was already one of the most dangerous events in a woman's life. But as our ancestors evolved larger brains, something unexpected happened. The very feature that made humans intelligent also made childbirth dramatically more difficult. It created a biological problem that evolution has never completely solved. So what actually happened when the first ancient human gave birth? The answer explains why human babies arrive so differently from almost every other animal on Earth. Around 2 million years ago, early members of the genus Homo began evolving larger brains than their ancestors. Bigger brains meant bigger heads, and bigger heads had to pass through a pelvis originally shaped for walking upright. This created what scientists call the obstetric dilemma, a long-standing evolutionary trade-off between efficient walking and giving birth. Biological anthropologist Karen Rosenberg has spent decades studying how this trade-off transformed human childbirth. Unlike chimpanzees, whose babies usually pass through a relatively straight birth canal, human babies must rotate several times during delivery. That twisting journey is unique among primates. It makes human birth longer, more painful, and significantly more dangerous. Evolution had increased intelligence, but it had also increased the cost of bringing every new human into the world, and that cost would shape the survival of entire families. Fossil evidence from sites like Gona suggests that early humans were already walking long distances across open landscapes. Walking efficiently required a narrow pelvis, allowing the legs to move directly beneath the body, but a narrow pelvis left less space for a baby's head during birth. Evolution couldn't simply make the birth canal much wider without making walking less efficient. Instead, it found a different solution. Human babies began being born earlier in their development than many other mammals. Compared with newborn chimpanzees, human infants are remarkably helpless. They can't walk, cling to their mothers, or even support their own heads. Much of their brain growth continues after birth, outside the womb. That may have made childbirth possible, but it created an entirely new challenge. American anthropologist Sarah Blaffer Hrdy argues that helpless babies change the entire structure of human society. A newborn needed constant care for years instead of weeks or months. That meant one mother often couldn't do everything alone. Someone had to gather food while she recovered. Someone had to protect the newborn from predators. Someone had to help carry the baby as the group continued moving across the landscape. Childbirth didn't just create a child, it strengthened cooperation between parents, grandparents, siblings, and the wider group. The first ancient human birth may have been more than the beginning of one life. It may have marked the moment survival became a shared responsibility, rather than an individual one. In 1984, anthropologist Wenda Trevathan proposed that human childbirth became so difficult that mothers increasingly depended on assistance from others. Unlike most mammals, a human baby usually rotates during birth so that it faces away from its mother. This means the baby's shoulders and head are difficult for the mother to guide on her own. Among chimpanzees and many other primates, newborns typically face toward their mothers, allowing them to be lifted immediately. Human birth is different. The baby's twisting path through the birth canal makes self-assisted delivery far more difficult. Trevathan argued that this may explain why helping another woman give birth became a nearly universal human behavior. Across almost every known culture, childbirth is rarely a solitary event. That tradition may stretch back hundreds of thousands of years, long before medicine existed. Another pair of hands may have been one of humanity's greatest inventions, but giving birth was only half the battle. The moment the baby entered the world, another race against time began. A newborn human cannot cling to its mother's fur because humans have almost no body hair. Chimpanzee infants instinctively hold on to their mothers within minutes of birth. Human babies can't. Someone has to hold them. Someone has to keep them warm. Someone has to feed them almost constantly. For hunter-gatherers who moved frequently, this created a serious problem. Every journey now depended on the survival of the smallest member of the group. Fossil discoveries at Dmanisi, dated to around 1.8 million years ago, reveal early humans traveling far beyond Africa into unfamiliar environments. These journeys crossed mountains, grasslands, forests, and regions filled with dangerous predators. A newborn couldn't survive those conditions alone. The entire group had to slow down. Food had to be shared. Camps had to be chosen more carefully. Fires became even more important because newborns lose body heat much faster than adults. A cold night that an adult could survive might be fatal for an infant only hours old. Every successful birth forced the group to adapt. Protecting one baby became everyone's responsibility. Human milk is also unusually demanding. Compared with many mammals, human babies feed frequently because their rapidly growing brains consume enormous amounts of energy. By the time a baby reaches its first birthday, the brain is already close to 60% of its adult size. That growth requires constant nutrition. If food became scarce, both mother and child faced enormous risks. Anthropologists believe this is one reason humans evolved extensive food sharing within hunter-gatherer groups. A successful hunter wasn't only feeding themselves, they were helping mothers continue feeding the next generation. Childbirth wasn't the end of the challenge. In many ways, it was only the beginning. Around 1980, anthropologist Owen Lovejoy proposed that raising helpless human babies may have reshaped the way early human families lived. He argued that as infants became more dependent, fathers and other group members likely played a greater role in providing food, while mothers recovered and cared for newborns. Whether every part of this hypothesis is correct remains debated, but most anthropologists agree on one point: human babies required far more care than almost any other primate. That level of dependence encouraged stronger social bonds and greater cooperation. A newborn wasn't just one person's responsibility, it became the responsibility of the group. The survival of one child often depended on many adults working together. That cooperation may have become one of humanity's greatest evolutionary advantages. Intelligence alone wasn't enough to ensure survival. Archaeological evidence from Kafsa Cave, dated to around 100,000 years ago, shows that humans were already caring deeply for infants and children. Excavations uncovered carefully prepared burials that included young individuals placed with deliberate attention. These discoveries suggest children held great importance within their communities. Every newborn represented years of investment before reaching adulthood. Losing an infant meant more than personal grief. It threatened the future of the entire group. In small hunter-gatherer bands of perhaps 20 to 50 people, every child mattered. Every successful birth increased the group's chance of surviving another generation. Every mother who recovered carried knowledge that could be passed on again. Birth wasn't simply the arrival of a baby. It was the continuation of an entire lineage. Today, modern hospitals use fetal monitors, ultrasound scans, antibiotics, blood transfusions, and emergency surgery to reduce the dangers of childbirth. None of those existed for your ancestors. They relied on experience, observation, and the support of other people. Some births ended in celebration, others ended in tragedy. Every generation survived because enough mothers and enough babies made it through one of evolution's most difficult challenges. The pain of childbirth wasn't an evolutionary mistake. It was the price our species paid for combining upright walking with unusually large brains. Without that compromise, humans might never have developed the intelligence that eventually built civilizations. But intelligence came at a cost that every generation had to pay again. The next time you see a newborn sleeping peacefully, it's easy to forget how unlikely that moment really is. For hundreds of thousands of years, every human life began with one of the most dangerous events any mother could experience. There were no guarantees, no second chances, only resilience, cooperation, and hope. The first ancient human mother probably didn't know she was changing history. She was simply trying to survive the day, but every successful birth carried humanity one generation farther than the last. Your family tree exists because that impossible journey succeeded. Not once, but thousands of times. Before humans learned to build cities, write stories, or change the world, they first had to solve a far older challenge: bringing the next human safely into it.